Okay. Hello, everyone. You're joining us at Public Space 1. This is the 2012 Summer Residence Show. We have 3 artists there in the background. Those are our summer artists: Adam Wohlwend, David Hernandez, and Kris Brown. Right now I'm in Adam's installation, sculpture, and we're going to talk to them about the show. So let's go meet them. Got off a little bit. Hey guys. Oh, let me kill this. Sorry. So, that seemed like a really weirdly formal TV show introduction to this what's going to be a casual conversation of sorts. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Adam Wohlwend.
David Hernandez. I'm Kris Brown.
All right. Thanks for agreeing to do this. So I guess I'll start with you, Adam, and I'm not just going to grill you. I just want to kind of have a conversation about this piece you made and what it was like doing a summer residency down here, and kind of what I think one thing we're interested in is where you're going from here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was a great experience for me. It was nice to just get in here and build something in the space that it was going to be in, to show it. And I appreciate that opportunity. This was kind of an odd project for me as far as sculptures go. Because I like to do kinetic stuff, I usually put in a lot of effort into having every single detail worked out and planned out before I start making the piece. And this one was true to a certain extent. I had actually was working off an idea that was dealing with morality based on the book Beyond Good and Evil by Nietzsche, and that's what this was going to be about. But it turned into something completely different in the process of me making it. And as I was going along, I've been working on these environments, trying to take the viewer completely out of the studio space and into a new world. And for me, these environments have to do with what's going on inside someone's mind. And so I'm trying to create these environments as like the physical representation of being inside someone's brain, and whoever's that may be. So
Yeah. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say it worked really strangely well like that for me. Like just this short distance you travel, it really, you go from outside a thing to right inside it. The light changes, and it's. I thought it was quite effective, more than you'd think with, just traveling the length of a garage door opener chain or whatever.
Exactly. So generally I've had these moving parts and these motors, and the idea of the movement for me was to be like the movement of our thoughts in our head. I've been really taken with this idea that we can kind of exist in these different planes as we sit and we think about things from our past, and we think about where we want to be in the future and what's going on in the present. So there's all this different stuff going on at the same time. And the movement of this, and being in school, I was often thinking about that as this kind of oddly annoying series of thoughts that were piling around, trying to figure things out and get things in my life to go the way I wanted them to, and so. The strange sound of the motor that was kind of annoying was a very good representation of that happening.
The motor or the chain?
Well, both the motor and the chain. And some of the things that I began to notice when I first started working with motors was the sound of the motor. I hadn't really thought about the sound of the motor, and And when I put things together in an odd way, you know, and just try to make them work, it's you always end up with these clunking sounds and these things that are a little bit off, you know. And I really think that is, for me, a nice, happy accident in the beginning. But I've continued to work with it since then, because it's really, you know, it's like even when things are wacky and crazy, or, you know, we have a lot going on in our heads, or just out living life, you know, it's like these crazy things happen, but they can also be really beautiful at the same time, you know. This one in particular became more about the piece itself than about morality or anything to do with that, you know. And I realized at some point that I was so just connected with this idea of the piece that, to me, I still felt like I was moving people into this cognitive area space in my mind, or in a mind, but it was less about morality and more about me working this whole project through in my head. And so I made the focal centerpiece on the inside with all these pictures of these drawings that I did while I was trying to work that through, you know.
Was that siren? Was that in your head too? Was that?
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. How was it for you guys working down here? You guys were, as a group, I must say, you know, like, this is the third year we've done the summer residency, and I think you guys utilize the space way more than it has ever been by summer resident. It was really nice for us. I mean, we felt like we made the right choice and everything in getting you guys down here. But at the same time, we were like kind of worried about putting 3 artists in this small of a space and working together, and with Adam using, you know, big power tools and saws and how did that work out for?
Yeah, I never saw it as a problem. It was, I had my headphones on for a lot part of it, but it was cool because I was trying to divide my work hours up evenly. Like, I had a little clock that I was like making sure that I worked for a while and then I relaxed for a bit. And during those times, I'd come out and check out what he was doing, and it was always an interesting process just seeing where things were gonna go. Because I remember the day he brought all the wood in, I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of stuff. But then you see the process, and it's really cool seeing it now.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part about the experience, is just kind of seeing everything come together. Like, just walking in and like, oh, here's the materials that everyone else is working with. I had no idea what you were going to do, but I was like, oh, this is going to be cool, it's going to be big, it's a lot of lumber. And then just coming in here day after day and like seeing like another step added on, and then slowly it became this whole room.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I should, we can go in and talk about your drawings, but I'm going to go back here and show the work area kind of that you have set up a little.
I'm gonna just flip the switch.
Okay.
Is it timed now? So like every time you turn on the chair, the light goes on?
Yeah, that's the way it was originally, like during the show. And I changed it during the show because I was worried that it was setting an overload to the.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That it was, you know, causing the breakers to go. So I figured the rest of the show, you know, people just kind of casually. I believe that one.
I like how at the end it was just, in the end it was a piece about the piece. Like,
yeah, I like that about it too.
Yeah, because you see the process. Like, while you're going in there, you're kind of wondering, hey, what is this? What am I looking at? And then you look at the drawings and you're seeing all the details of the thought process that led up to the thing that you're in right now.
Right.
So it was just very cool. Just
right.
The experience.
It was painful for me, that part.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I really like to have everything planned out, you know, to the very end, and I feel like I should be able to explain every single nut, bolt, and screw in the entire piece, and you know, do a walk around and be like, this is why I did, you know, but it's, you know, that wasn't the reality of this one. It was kind of letting it happen the way it was happening, and then, and it kind of calmed me down when I was thinking, you know, well, this is what I've been doing, so this is what it's going to be about. You know? So.
that like meta notion of the show, like I thought about it in terms of like, what if we kept this as like another viewing gallery in our space, and like what if you like hung a painting at the end, and like the true experience of the painting was to like ride this slow thing right up to it and like lose yourself in that environment, and then leave it like by retreating from it and exiting. I don't know.
Oh, that's
So it's like, can we turn this into a room in our space? I don't know.
That would actually be cool if you were moving towards one of those light boxes in there, because the warm glow in those already like sets it apart. It's a different area, so
Yeah.
zooming in towards it, you'd really have to like, oh, I guess I'm contemplating this right now.
Yeah,
It sort of
yeah.
forces you into that mindset.
Yeah. Do you want to show us your stuff, David?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for mine, I did a series of Ted Danson prints, and they were all based off of that song by King Harvest, "Dancing in the Moonlight." So I started off with this one right here, and it was because this was always an image I would have in my head as I heard that song. It was always something that I thought of, and I thought
You thought of Ted Danson?
Yeah.
In the moonlight?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I mean, I guess in my imagination I had a gazebo and I had multiple Ted Dansons with roses, but I figured, I just need one for this one. And earlier in the year I kind of wanted to get back into drawing because I hadn't been doing it very, very often. So my friend encouraged me to do like just a project about something that I was really interested in, and then we did this, and I thought, it'd be cool if we did some other ones, and so we heard the song Dancing Machine by the Jackson 5, and that eventually,
It's on the drawing table here, yeah.
yeah. And then we thought we can go further, so we just kept on going with different types of dancing. So we were at a Java house and just discussing like, we can do Dancing with the Stars and what was it, ballroom dancing, and those were the two that we started off with, and then just talking about this idea with other people, you kind of get the ball rolling and you hear other ideas that were really great, and so we have topless dancing and salsa dancing over here.
Yeah. When did the 10 Dansons come in?
Kris and I were trying to discuss what the name of our show would be. Like we were like, we have to have like a name for it. And Kris came up with a really good one. And I remember just thinking about, I don't know if it was Kris or someone else, but we thought about, since there were going to be 10 of them already, just go with the 10 Dansons. That way.
Sounds enough like Ted Danson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got a little intimidated with this project in the beginning because I realized that I had to make every single one of them look like Ted Danson. Because it's like, and I wasn't really that good at faces, so I kind of got nervous about it. But once, I think that one was the first one, and I didn't do too good of a job just capturing, at least as far as.
Is this Sam Malone here?
Yeah, this is regular Sam Malone. Ted Danson. I wouldn't be successful if I didn't have the Ted Danson look down. I think that was the hardest part of this whole project, just trying to master doing Ted Danson. But I think if Ted Danson ever needed a portrait artist now,
You'd be the man. Yeah. You worked all summer.
That's right.
Perfecting
his look. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the ballroom dancing is really nice. I think it worked printing them off these bigger prints you made of your drawings. They work for me.
There's a lot of really small details in them, so having them really big gives you a chance to really take a look at them.
So what's next for you? What are you working on next? Have you thought ahead or?
Not really. I've just been getting to work on projects that I've kind of backed up for a while. Yeah, me and Kris are working on a piece in our place right now of the character Galactus from Marvel Comics. Okay. So we have this 5 foot by 3 foot canvas, and we're just gonna do this kind of space-themed painting / drawing of Galactus, kind of getting ready to consume the Earth.
Cool.
Well,
It's taking up a big chunk of the living room.
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Well, that's a good segue. We can segue to Kris's work. Yeah, I'll let you kind of introduce us to everything that's happening here.
All right. I guess a lot of my stuff is based on sort of two ideas. So it's kind of nice this summer to be able to work on those and find a way to bring them together into one. So a lot of the things I work on a lot deal with repeating a process over and over and over again. And that process itself might not look cool to begin with, but once you repeat it enough, it becomes, it either takes on a texture or a thickness or a lot of things like that. And the piece on the wall here with the poured resin sort of allowed me to at least conceptually link it up with my other idea that I like working with, which is taxonomies, and coming up with a way to at least conceptually sort and arrange ideas in my head. And that's what a lot of the digital pieces I have are based on, is just sorting ideas into groups and trying to find the most efficient way to do that, or the most interesting way to do that.
Yeah, these resin pieces are. I don't know what to say about them. I really enjoy them a lot, and there were a lot of comments on them. People just found them strange and compelling and attractive, and yeah.
That's kind of the nice thing about working with resin too, because it's just sort of automatically takes on this unnatural appearance. So even though they're really sloppy underneath it and really messy, the high gloss, like glassy sheen on them makes them sort of take on more than that.
And so this is the repeating process is the layers and layers and layers of resin.
Each one has multiple layers of canvas in it too, so they're cut up and prepared in stacked canvases, so that gives it some depth. And then I made more depth in there by pouring a layer of resin, painting on that, pouring another layer, painting on that, and just continuing to do that. So at first it just looks like a plain sheet of glass, but then eventually you get stuff embedded in it and a little bit cloudy, so it really brings out the depth in it.
And so the canvas, and then the canvases are here as well. This is kind of the this piece and then this piece on the wall are similar repetition of processes.
Yeah, this one is based on an MRI scan that I looked up. So it's sort of an animation of a painting of an animation in a way.
Okay.
Because I repainted every frame from the original MRI scan animation and then sort of made them into this almost book-like stack of cut and painted canvases. So it's like a physical object with a cave inside of it if you stack them all up in order. Or what I was sort of, the whole time I was working on it and hoping would work out, but I wasn't sure if it would, was turning it back into an animation at the end. So I took a photograph of each layer and then stacked them up and made each layer back into a frame in an animation. So there's an animated GIF of it.
Is that on this?
Yeah.
On that QR code.
Yeah, if you scan that, it takes you to the animation of it, and so you can sort of see it going through all the layers over and over again about once a second.
Oh, cool. I didn't even notice that. Oh no, I got to do that. And then the spider web. I mean, yeah.
Once again, it's just repeating a process, just letting it sit for a week and letting cobwebs accrue on it, and then painting over it. And that makes them show up. Like, all the cobwebs are completely invisible until I put a clear coat on them, and then they show up, and just keep doing that. Like, I've had these going for almost a year, just slowly accruing more and more texture.
Nice. And then this would be a different process.
Yeah, so this is sort of my other idea I like to work with a lot. instead of the repeating process is just sort of different ways to sort things. And so each one of the little squares on there is like a different conceptual framework for the sorting process. And so I've just developed, I think, either more interesting or more efficient ways to keep the sorting going. So each square on there is a different iteration in that process. So it's like each one's like an updated version of the previous one.
So is it started from where? Is there a sequence here
it goes
then?
Left to right. Like the left is the first one I came up with that really doesn't cover much.
Mm-hmm. How would you explain this sorting process?
It starts really simple. Like in that one, just each shape on there is more or less like one field of human knowledge.
Uh-huh.
And then as it went on, I I thought it was good to come up with subgroups, so that one gets more fractal. It just starts by splitting into three.
Uh-huh.
So each one is just a different way to sort, and
uh-huh.
they cover different topics, and is trying to decide how much to include and what to omit.
Hi.
And then the farthest right one is sort of, I don't even know how that one's going to work yet. That one's like
Uh-huh.
a potential idea for, I don't know, something. I gotta figure out how that one works, but I don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next for you then? The work with Galactus.
Gotta do Galactus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And then keep coming up with the sorting thing, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I feel like once I have that perfectly figured out, I can cover every topic that anyone's ever thought of. That's probably a little outside of my grasp, but that's the ultimate goal. So however far I get along that goal, it's more than one person can do in a lifetime, but we'll see how far I get.
Cool. Well, thanks you guys. We hit 22 minutes, and I just want to, thank you guys again for this. This show it's eclectic, but it works really well. Like there's a bit of like anything you'd want, I feel like, in this show, from humor to like the interactive aspect to, like the visual appealing sexiness of paintings or whatever, like there's a bit of everything in here. So it was just a real great experience having you guys as summer residents, and continued success in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks.